Hi guys, this is Motivation and Memoirs. Welcome to part 2 of the male version of communication in marriage. We have done part 1 and I hope you enjoy. And if you don't watch it, it is there so you can take a look and leave your comment and also share and give that thumbs up. So I just want to say welcome now to part 2 where we continue from what we have left off. So enjoy.
Both of you have talked about disrespect, right? Now, I know from reading and from my own experience and personally as well, the one thing that any man wants from his woman is respect, right? Super important. Now, how do you communicate when you feel that the person to whom you are married does not respect you? How do you even begin to deal with that? Because if you and I mean, like, for example, right now in COVID, so many marriages and relationships are falling apart because people used to be able to spend time apart. Morning come, them get up, them gonna work. I don't see them again till evening, so you kind of get a little break. But with COVID now and with certain restrictions, and people are stuck in the same space, when communication is not good, right, then there is a breakdown. And so many relationships have suffered, particularly now during COVID, because of that. Now, I want us to talk about respect. From your perspective, how should a woman speak to you for you not to be disrespected? And this comes on the back of understanding that men and women communicate in very different ways, right? So generally, women will go to deeper depths and higher heights, and they will try to
Yeah,
explain every little bit of everything and how it makes them feel, and how you turn right when you're supposed to turn left, and how you wave your index finger when it was supposed to be a thumb, and all of these little details, right? All of these
yeah,
things
they are
matter the most,
women are like incubators. You
right?
see, yeah, they develop things. They
Absolutely.
develop things. If
Absolutely.
you give them, I guess is Sir Monroe would have said, if you give them a letter, they give you a word. If you give them a word, they give you a sentence. Give you a sentence, and give you a paragraph. And
And
if
that
you
is
give a
very
paragraph,
true.
and give you a epistle.
And that is very
So
true.
yeah, it's
So
truthful.
research
Very.
shows that women speak more than 3 times more than men, right? So it therefore means that for every maybe 5 words that we say, a woman will say at least 10. Sorry, at least 50, right? Think about that, For
It's true.
every single word that we say, a woman will say at least three. For every 5 words we say, a woman will say at least 15. For every 10 words that we say, a woman will speak at least 30.
It's a
This is what
lot of talking,
research shows. That's a lot of chatting, right?
you
So, what it therefore means is that there is more scope, perhaps, for there to be disrespect, right, in terms of communication. So, by virtue of women speaking more, it is very likely that they are more likely to disrespect a man more, right? So, first of all, what is your experience and how can we help? So, this is from our perspective as men. What advice can we give to women in terms of how to communicate with us better to avoid disrespect? Pastor Meli, you can go first.
Okay, well, as pastors, even as Christians, disrespecting our wives is a no-no, should be a no-no, especially when they are children, because you remember we are setting an example. Whether boys or girls, we are setting an example to the boys how they should treat a wife, and we are setting an example to our daughters how they should be treated. So if we as men begin to disrespect our 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 wives in front of our children. And no matter how much you say you're gonna do it, because if you say you're gonna do it in the living room, or in your bedroom, I can attest that the wife now keep it in the bedroom. Her mouth will get loud. It's gonna get loud. It's gonna get loud. So, and as I said again, I thank God for maturity. Maturity. You can't get that word out of it. Because when we get mature, we understand all of these things. Because even like first time when in my early marriage, things that I would say to my wife, I wouldn't dare say it again. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I remember. I remember. I was preaching about 3 weeks straight, 3 weeks in and out of the house, back to work, from work, bam, bam, bam. And I remember we had an argument while I was getting ready, and she was saying, "I would like to know where you're gonna talk to God." People them say, "I'm in our answer, cause me I get ready." Blah blah blah. And I was passing on my bag, it over some cassette or something. And I called on my big son to take it up. And she said, "Don't take it up." And I said, "Take it up." And she said, "Don't take it up." And my son started crying. And I said, "Hold a minute to not fight." And I said, "Lord Jesus Christ. No, this cannot be healthy." You understand? That cannot be healthy because, and I say it comes with maturity, because all I was eager for is to up and down preaching God's word. And you guys know all over the place. You understand? But when it comes, when we as husbands mature, we understand that our first ministry is at home.
That's right.
Our first ministry is at home.
Right at home.
And if we can't take care of our home, don't trouble God church. Don't trouble God church. So I say, no disrespect should be numbered among women and men of God.
Especially when you're a senior person.
Right? If we see it coming up, we should cut it off fast, quick, get it in there, bud it instantly. So
that's what I want to find out, For you, what does disrespect sound like in communication?
All right. For me as a man, if you shout at me, if you don't shout at me, I don't like it. I don't like you shout at me. And if you have something to say to me, I believe I'm humble enough for you to sit me down and talk with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you shout at me, I might shout back at you. I'm gonna give you an instant and I'll pass it over. I remember my former supervisor, now deceased, about a year ago or so. I remember a co-worker asked, about 2 co-workers asked me one morning to rush go to Papi. My office is close by Papi, to buy some patty for them. But riding out of the compound, there's a book I have to sign. Security have to sign it, and supervisor. She never come work it. So I just said, just I help out a co-worker up to Papi, which now take me 5 minutes. And by the time I return, security, the gate was saying, "Boy, blah, blah, blah." She a blaze up and said, they allow me out to do it, signing. And then she called me at her desk. And then she was talking real high and hard. And we said, "Listen to this, Soup." And she was saying that she gonna write me and all of that. We said, "Listen, Soup, if you're gonna write," they said. She was acting up. She said, "If you're gonna write me, I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you. Write me, write it." When I'm talking about writing, I'm gonna send it to HR and put it on your file and all of that. So I said, "No problem, write it." And I get up, which, and then she began to like sidestep me. I go in and I say, "Good morning." She never answer. So it reached our boss. Our boss called us in meeting. And my boss is saying, "Sir Miller, what I hear, I don't believe, especially coming from somebody like you, who is a man of the clergy." And blah. And I explained everything. And what she said to my supervisor, she was saying, "Listen to me, you must remember that we don't employ children," because she was shouting. I was saying, "Listen, if you have a quiet dog at your house, and that dog is chained up and you began to eat that dog will bite you, whether you are the owner or not." So I'm saying, shouting can, because let me tell you, that's a doorway or an entrance for the enemy to come in.
Mhm.
Because even us as husband, it is that right to shout at our wife, you know,
Mhm.
because we must be reminded that they are not our children. Amen. As a matter of fact,
That's
I don't
right.
even shout at my children, no, sir,
Mhm.
because I know how I feel when person shout at me. So,
Right.
you know, so that is one of my thing. As if somebody does that, you got me mute. I stop talk. I cut off. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Pastor Thomas, what does disrespect look like to you in communication?
Okay. Shouting. That the thing. I can't manage shouting. I just cannot manage shouting. When you shout to me, I two things. I either lock down or shout back.
Mhm.
Shout at your back.
Yeah.
You understand? But most of the
Better you lock down, yeah, man.
time I lock down. And when I lock down, I kind of love the lockdown, so we stay locked down. You understand?
Which is
Yeah.
not good because we are giving space to the enemy.
That is
Exactly.
right.
As well.
That is right. You know, so I will stay locked down and only speak when I am spoken to.
Mhm.
And the next thing again, my wife is a lecturer. She said, move the pen. And when she said move the pen, you get 50 from she started university until she end. You understand? So she give you all. And I said, why the lecture? You understand? We can't manage that. You know, I cannot manage the lecture because I respond this way. If you say, Pastor Thomas, move a pen, you kill me dead. You understand? You have me. But anytime you say, why you not move the pen and the pen should not be there? Me not here. I do not hear because I cannot manage so many lecture. You know, so I think between my wife and I, there's a misunderstanding right there because she loved to lecture. She lecture. You understand? And sometimes our words, them, why it's not a matter of saying a disrespecting word, but because now the intellect level is totally two different things, then it kind of you wonder what to say or do or wonder what you're really saying. You understand? You know, so that is the two era, the long lecture and the shouting. That's the only thing that really I see where I am. I would look at that disrespect.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I know the lecture well is the nature of the person and the shouting is human, but it's those two things that I really I would say no disrespect the man, but maybe I get quiet, but understand it.
Right. Yeah, I completely get that. I think for me as well, the biggest issue in terms of communication in marriage is respect. And how I look at it, right? When we go out to work for somebody, if we have somebody who we call boss and we report to them and we answer to them and they can ask us a question and we answer calmly and we explain ourselves, etc. I always say how you behave with that person shows that you respect them, right? You will not raise your voice at your boss. You will
Matter
not
what.
ignore them when they ask you a question. You will not answer them anyhow. You will be present in mind and body when they're talking to you. You will pay attention to them. You will not be staring to the left if they're standing to your right and talking to you. My point always is this: we have ways that we show that we respect people, right? And we choose to respect these people. Why? Because they control our paychecks, right? And I always say to my wife, if you treat me differently to how you treat those people, it means that you are not respectful of me. If when I'm speaking to you, you're not paying attention, you're being disrespectful. If I am trying to talk to you, are you trying to talk on top of me because you feel that what you have to say is more important, you're being disrespectful. And I always say, think about somebody who you respect. Would you treat them this way? Would you speak to them in this way? And if the answer is no, then the answer simply is that you shouldn't be treating me that way either.
True.
Right? So I think for men, a lot breaks down, or a lot of communication really falls apart when we don't see that we're being respected, or we don't feel that we're being respected. And like you said, it comes with maturity, right? And I mean, certainly what you would have gone through in 5 years of marriage is perhaps not the same thing that you're going through right now, 25 years later, or 20 years later, because people become mature. They gain a better understanding of, I've been with this man for so long. If I want to keep him around, then it means I need to get my behavior in check, right? And I think many times is that we're not thinking about the long term. We're thinking about right now, how me feel right now. You dismiss me, I got this year back. Or it's how I want things to be, it's how I feel, and this is how I want it. So I think many of the problems arise out of selfishness, in that we just want to satisfy ourselves in that moment, right? And I think that's where a lot of marriages do fall apart. Let us talk a little bit about what communication looks like on a daily basis. So, what are the things to communicate about in terms of, for a guy, we may not want to get up and talk about which color dress the woman is going to wear, and which skirt no cut palm bias, and which this no make her hips them look broad, and also, but the women do want to talk about it. They want to talk about 2 shades of brown makeup will look absolutely the same to us, and it makes no difference, but to them there's a huge difference. And if you don't help them choose one, is a big problem. They might want to talk about the children, and them grow one strand of hair right here, and them a ton man that you don't realize, and this and that. How do we deal with those things? So how do we reconcile differences in interest in communication when one person wants to talk about something that the other person is not interested in? And is there any danger to not doing that? Father Thomas, you can take this one first.
Okay, yes, there are danger to it. Danger is that sometimes your wife would, or you would love to communicate with your wife, but you may see your wife not as that person who you want to communicate in that era with.
That's
like
right.
So you will choose somebody, and likewise your wife, they may choose somebody else who they want to communicate with. I have a pastor friend in Colorado, and when we want to sit and talk about what is happening in ministry today and what used to happen then, the ego versus the leading of the Holy Spirit and all of these things, we call, and when him call me in the night, my wife just say, come out of the room, because I mean that we communicate about certain things which you don't communicate with your wife about. But it is of a true, or the danger is, we should must be able to communicate with our wives in every area of life. But sometime again, it's just because of the level of our maybe education or understanding toward certain things, then we might not able to. May choose somebody, or you choose somebody else. But it's not really good. Well, I say not good. Sometimes it can cause problem. And if you do not trust your wife or your partner at all, then it may cause problem. You understand? Because, for instance, my wife is a trained social worker. And there are times then I know she have a friend who she call on a regular basis, and they discuss certain things. You understand? Along that line. I'm not able to communicate in that area because I do not know anything about that area, But it would be good if we could able to communicate in this level. I think it would make her more complete and make me also more complete. So there are danger there, but as I said, trust is one of the things that really will bring some, what I must say, some leverage or coolness to the thing.
Okay. All right. So we should be able to talk to our partners about anything, pretty much.
Yeah, man, every
Yeah.
year.
All right. Thank you very much. Pastor Miller?
Yes, communication is key. I would even leave it a key. It is key plus padlock or lock. Yeah, communication is key within a relationship. And it also comes with maturity again. We can't leave that out. The more we grow together and we mature together, it's more easier to say anything. All right, just remember, watch this. The first time maybe the first time you met that woman that becomes your wife, there are certain things you will never say to her. As a matter of fact, you will not allow her to see you naked, right? Because that trust and that communication is not there. It just come like Adam and Eve. It was after they sin against God, disobey God, they realized that they were naked, right? There was so much communication that they never realized that they were naked until they disobey God. So communication is so much important. And even last night, my wife put on a dress. She was looking dressed to wear to church. And I was in the living room and she came and she put on a dress and said, "Oh, it look." And I looked from her head to toe. And I said, "Yes, it's all right." And she was saying, "Why the expression on your face doesn't say that?" You know what I think? I think I was watching the TV at the same time and looking at her, and then she never accepted. She don't wear the dress because I say yes, it looked nice, but the facial expression wasn't. And listen to me, and this is one of the problems I have with women. They will ask you a question, you know, but the answer they are not asking you for the right. They already know what they want to hear, you know. But when you give them the answer that you have to give them, if it's not what they want to hear, it might cause a problem.
Absolutely.
It will cause a problem, right? So again, communication is so much important in a marriage, in a relationship, and we must learn. Wow, my phone! I tell me some battery run low. Let me charge it near me. We must learn to ask questions in a relationship. Because sometimes we feel that the individual love what we are saying. All right, today I'll do my preaching. Sometimes preachers we use references. So I was preaching about it. My topic was how blah blah blah. But sometimes I just move from your sermon and you come back. And I was talking about marriage. And I was saying to the young people that never you allow even your closest relative into your marriage, not even your parents. So I was saying to my sons, so listen, not even your mother, you allow in your marriage. But the rich woman said to me, said, "Don't do that again." So she was saying anything fun still. Because she was saying, boy, she was saying to the boys that if you're in a relationship and not working, come to me. Let me help you out. And she was saying it in a good way.
Right.
Because, as I said again, maturity helps a lot. And so that's it for me.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So, sometimes we kind of want to communicate something for the good of that person. And I think this perhaps goes back to priesthood somewhat, right? For example, if we read in Ecclesiastes, I believe 4 it is. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, Ecclesiastes 4, verse 9 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If one of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up, right? Ecclesiastes 4, 9 to 10. Now, a lot of the time, we as men, we see something And we're trying to warn the women against a particular behavior, a particular word that they might use, a particular way they might skin up them face or something. I would kind of want to say, say this might have a certain kind of effect on somebody out there, etc. So
Yes,
we are
true.
looking out for their best interest. But in so many cases, them turn around and fight we,
The man is
right?
flip on you,
Right?
flip.
They flip completely and it becomes an argument. We are trying to protect them and we're looking out for their best interest. And sometimes it just totally backfires. And I mean, even sometimes if you say it in the kindest, nicest way, them just no one hear it. Right? And this is generally because, well, let me not generalize. In cases that I've experienced, sometimes them just know I hear nothing from you. Is so them stay and them not gonna change and them not change how them face look for please nobody and them not
Right,
change how them behave because people think way and people love chat and them always have something to
right,
say and
right.
them for mind them own business and them for this and that. But as children of God, as ministers, like I always tell my wife, we don't get treated the same way as a regular member. Somebody can say, go away, and people take it as joke. When me and you say it, Pastor and manners and him run me out of church and him this and him that, and me now go back
Yeah,
over there, right? So we don't get the same treatment necessarily. So we have to be 10 times more careful than
true.
anybody else in how we speak. And sometimes we're trying to point this particular thing out to our women, but it just goes wrong. And in many cases, it can turn into an argument. How do we deal with that? Because we're trying to be their protector. We're actually trying to save them the trouble of having it happen to them out a road and then something else happens.
Yeah,
Possibly, if
because
you can go first with that one.
especially in ministry, because do you know, as pastors, our wives are key to our ministry. They
Absolutely.
can either they can make it or they can break it. And that is why I was tell folks the first person, an individual in the church, will either hate or can't take is a pastor's wife. The devil use them to attack the wife of the pastor,
Very true.
right? Because listen, as I said, it takes our wife to make our ministry. And it comes again if for instance, we can see it as men, if our wives sometimes they face the facial expression
Mhm.
might give off a different thing from her. 'Cause as you said, Rev, that they might be saying some stay and blah blah blah, no wrong. But trust me, as my bishop would say to us, Pastor, let me tell you this. Pastors are we pastors are some of the biggest hypocrites. I mean, say what Bishop has said. No, Bishop said, listen, let me tell you this. We are some of the biggest hypocrites because we have to pretend when we know that things are not such and such.
So true.
Yes,
So true.
we have to pretend because we are trying to protect our ministry.
Or ministry. That's right.
So sometimes we pretend, right? So as I say, Rev, sometimes it's so difficult to even break the word to our spouses
It's
because
really important. And I'll tell you, for example, so the church that I'm in here, it's the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and it's a worldwide mission, right? It's based in Nigeria. It's in, I think, 195 countries of the world
wow,
right now. Huge church. Now, one thing with how they ordain ministers, you do not get any position of leadership in terms of being a pastor if you're not married. Number one,
wow,
right? Because they want to be sure that every pastor having one woman and that he's not going to be tempted away when he's there leading people as an unmarried person. And the
okay,
second thing is when you are promoted, so is your wife. So
yeah,
they go from deacon to assistant pastor to pastor. When the husband is being promoted to deacon, the wife is also promoted to deaconess. When the husband is promoted to assistant pastor, the wife is also assistant pastor. And when the husband becomes pastor, the wife becomes pastor too. Because
Yeah.
both of you are supposed to be moving together, doing this thing together, and they understand that ministry takes a lot of work and it takes more than one person to get it right. Right?
True.
So you are absolutely right. What the bishop said, that we have to be some of the biggest hypocrites, because even when things didn't go too well this morning, I used to have to go to church. You better go on like everything is fine. Because if one member ever says something that, hey, Pastor, any woman, that problem this morning,
Like
it's
a pastor friend
not
of mine
going so
told me.
easy. That is right.
Pastor friend of mine tell me that he and his wife have an argument this Saturday night. Saturday night, you know, I was preparing the sermon to Sunday. I even go preach this Sunday. And he said, before him preaching, call the wife to pray. You know. Yeah, man, I said, and the wife pray, so yes, since you pray, we can't preach.
Right?
He said, that's the way his mind or his conscience was free. I said, you can't pray, we can't preach.
That is right.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you do enjoy. I want to say we are not finished yet, so look out for the next series. Hope you do enjoy, and please give this video a thumbs up, share, and please subscribe. And I also want to remind you about our t-shirt line. Please support. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Shalom.